Welcome to Where's Wilmington? I'm Lisa Capalla. This is WCTV's half-an-hour program where we talk about what's going on in Wilmington and beyond. And today I have with me Bob DiPalma, and he is of the Wilmington Food Pantry. And actually, they've changed the name of the Wilmington Food Pantry to the Wilmington, what are we calling it now?
Food Commissary.
The Food Commissary. Bob, thanks for being with us. And tell us a little bit about why you changed the name from the Food Pantry to the Commissary.
Well, we actually started in January of '92, and we started calling it the Food Commissary. What I wanted to do is to have people, when they came to us, to feel as comfortable as they possibly can. Some people have a great deal of difficulty coming across that threshold. Pride, you know, and you have to respect that. So what we wanted to do is to sort of get away from the stigma that's attached to the name Food Pantry, if there is one,
right,
and just to see if you know, the word commissary makes it just a little more comfortable.
Okay.
So
why that particular word? That makes me think of the military or going on base, a commissary. Why that particular word of all the other things you could have chosen?
Well, there really weren't that many other things. Pantry, yes, food bank. But those are all, you know, very common, and if you say those, you know where, what type of situation it is.
Right.
But I thought we'll try the Food Commissary once I looked it up and saw how to spell it.
Right. It does seem a little more user-friendly.
That was the whole purpose of it. You know, it's still what it is, but we just want everybody to feel as comfortable as they possibly can.
Okay. Where is the Food Commissary located, if we've never had a chance to use it?
Very close to where we're sitting right now.
Okay.
We're located on the first floor of the Swain School, one flight above where we are right here.
Excellent. What do you need from the community? Everyone listening today, I'm sure, wants to get involved. What do you really need from us?
Well, right from now from the community, we need just about everything that can be donated in terms of food items, toothpaste, soap, paper towels, toilet paper, anything like that, you know, we can accept and distribute to the community.
So it's not just food?
No, it isn't. We don't do clothes, obviously,
right,
but anything on that idea. Primarily, we do food. That's initially what we're there for. But sometimes people want to know, you know, what else can they do? And toothpaste, soaps, those are all important
anything
items.
Really non-perishable that you could use in your home.
Although we are equipped to handle perishable foods also.
Really?
We have 2 freezers and 2 refrigerators.
Okay.
So.
Now, I've lived in Tewksbury, Wilmington my whole life, and I guess I was thinking today, coming here, I don't see a lot of the effects of poverty when I'm driving through my town, but I'm sure things like that are going on here. Can you speak a little bit about the need and the secret poor, probably, that's going on right here under our noses? I guess if you're not in the situation, sometimes you don't see it.
Well, it's not obvious in that we don't have homeless people in Wilmington. Right. So you're not going to see people sleeping in cardboard boxes. What we have would be single-parent homes, grandparents who are taking care of grandchildren, and people who have lost their jobs, been laid off. And most people find that, you know, 2 weeks without a paycheck,
right,
and you need assistance. Right. So that's the clientele that we usually deal with.
I think I have heard that statistic before, that most Americans are 1 to 2 paychecks from being in bankruptcy or in some kind of financial trouble. So that having been the case, have you seen this get worse? And how long have you been with the food pantry or the commissary?
I along with Jim Hatchie, the 2 of us started the food pantry in, as I said, January of 1992. Okay. I've been with it ever since.
So what have you seen? Up,
well,
down,
I've seen
more, less? What's it look like now?
When we started it, I thought, well, the way the economy looks, I thought maybe 2 years tops, and we'd be we'd be, closing our doors because the economy would improve. That hasn't happened to the degree that our services are not needed in town. So that has never occurred. And what we've been seeing now is actually an increase since, I would say about a year. In the past year, our numbers have gradually increased on almost a steady basis. So we, just about every time we're open, we'll have 1 or 2 new families registering.
So I suppose you could look at that 2 ways. Either people are using the services more because they're knowing more about the services, or is there greater of a need? Which, unfortunately, which way do you think
I
it
have
is?
to say, just by talking to the people that are coming in, and it's people who are losing jobs or single parents because of a split up in the home.
Right.
So I would say that it's the need, but a combination of both.
Right.
Obviously, people have to hear about us, and and we get referrals from the schools, from the town nurse, from the police department, the fire department, and other people involved in low-income housing also will refer people to us.
Do you have to have a referral to utilize the services?
No.
How does one go about that?
Just walk in the door, and all we ask, we have a very simple registration form for people to fill out, and basically we want to determine the need. We want to find out how many people have to be helped in the family, if there are any dietary requirements. Some people cannot use salt and that type of thing.
Right.
We like to know that. Well,
Okay, so the person would just basically fill out a very simple
and
form.
they do have a very simple form, and they do have to be a Wilmington resident.
Okay,
That's,
and I assume
that's it.
all this information is confidential, just in
Totally
case anyone's
confidential.
concerned.
Totally confidential.
Okay.
Absolutely.
How is it from where you're sitting, being in the position to help people like that? I'm sure it makes you feel good, but do you ever have days when you go home and feel a little more grateful, let's say, than you normally would?
Yeah, a lot of times I'll go home and feel a little frustrated because I can't do enough.
Really?
There's always a limitation. Like we've noticed since Hurricane Katrina and since the tsunami, the people have been asked to donate all over the world. And we have seen a decrease. As I would guess other food pantries have also seen
Right.
a decrease in donations being made. And in the past month, we have been, as our shelves have been about as bare as they ever have been since we opened.
Really? I have heard that. I'm sure that makes sense. If you only have so much money in your budget to allot for monthly for charitable giving, it's got to go somewhere.
And people are giving.
Right.
And you can't criticize that they're not
No.
giving it to you. They are giving it to help out other people, which is fine, which is a wonderful thing to do. But that we still have the same people coming in our doors and looking
And now you're
looking
saying
for help.
the need is even greater now than it was
Yeah.
before, which is kind of...
It is.
Heavy.
Yeah, it is a little double-edged sword there.
Now, is the food commissary supported by government money, or is this through the town, or is it all privately funded?
We are completely independent of any state or federal organization.
That's great.
And we've been able to stay that way because Wilmington is such a generous community. They've always given and taken care of the needs that we have run across. But we're not part of Project Bread, we're not part of Walk for Hunger, we're not part of anything. We've never had to be.
Really?
So we are completely independent. And I think it works out to the advantage of the people that need our services, because I talk to people from other food pantries, and I know that we are very generous with what we're able to do. All right, and because people give, we're able to give it back. That's basically it. The people are generous, so we can afford to be generous.
Right. What kinds of things would a person generally get in their goodie bag, so to speak, when they leave the food pantry? What can they expect to leave with? Let's say a family of 4, 2 children and 2 adults.
A family of 4 would probably walk out with between 6 and 8 grocery bags,
Wow.
paper grocery bags, full of food, all right, along with a hot pizza.
Wow.
We're very fortunate. The pizza shops in Wilmington all donate 2 pizzas every time we're open. And so we're able to give every family a hot pizza
Excellent.
to
What
leave.
do you find, you've talked to other food pantries and to folks that use your services, what do you find is the biggest misconception about what you do? Or what would you really like people to know to get
Well,
that
a lot
out?
of people think that we're helping people who are just lazy and really don't want to help themselves. Now, I'm not going to say that never happens. And I'm not going to say that is there anybody walking in the door who is taking advantage of us and slipping through the cracks? Is that possible? Of course it's possible. I don't look at that. I look at, even if that's 5% of the people we're helping, that means that I'm helping, well, not just me, but our group, we're helping 95% of the people that need our services, and those are the ones that I'm going to look at. These other people have to deal with them, they have to live with themselves, and if we find that's the case, we will ask them, not to return, but that is so seldom.
Well, for the most part, who would really make that their life's calling as a
Not
job?
too
You
many.
you
Yeah,
have
that's
to
right.
fill out the form,
Yeah.
you have to come
Yeah.
each week,
Yeah.
so on. How do you folks feel when they know they have to use a food pantry services? How do you find the people, do they feel sad about the situation, or they?
Yeah. Well, some people
How
feel
are they?
very uncomfortable that they have to ask. They're proud, and I respect that.
Right.
When there's children involved, we'll push a little harder to make sure that they come in for our services.
Okay.
But I think most people, when they're coming in, they're grateful. Once they get past that initial
Right.
embarrassment or discomfort that they feel, and we work very hard to make them feel comfortable there.
How do you do that?
Well, we have a very relaxed atmosphere. We'll laugh and we joke. You know a lot of the faces after a while. Even if I don't know the names, I know the
Right.
faces, and you learn their personalities. And so we just keep it as low key as possible, and we have some fun with it.
So you make them feel like people instead
We
of a
talk with
number.
them. We talk, exactly. That's just simply by talking with them. And when you talk about things that involve them, they know that you know who they are. They're not a number, and they're a person, and we know that they're a person. And it's really just that simple.
Right, because it's oftentimes hard to ask for help when you need it. I think some of us are guilty of that in our
Absolutely, it
own
is.
lives, separate from the whole food issue. Do you need any volunteers from the community, not so much from the giving side, but to help you to keep this going from your end?
Well,
You're there an
I
awful
know
lot, I understand.
Well, yes, but it's my choice. We're very fortunate in the amount of help that we get. I've got a core of volunteers who are there with me all the time, and they're just awesome. They're just, any one of them could take over, and run the food pantry. We also get a lot of help from the high school. The National Honor Society over the years have been just tremendous with coming over and helping. And we get a lot of teenagers, and I love that when we get teenagers who come in and give up their Saturdays and a couple of hours on a Saturday to help us out. So we're very fortunate. I also have people that walk in off the street from the community and they'll want to help out, and I'll take their names and call them when I need them, and
Excellent.
that's everything. So we're very fortunate in the amount of help that we have.
Good. So let me give you this last few minutes here to put your wish list out to the community. I know some folks may not have the time to drop by and bring by perishables, non-perishables, toothpaste, so forth. Can we make private donations that you can
Yes.
use? What's your wish list? What do you
All right.
really want from everybody listening today?
We come under the umbrella of the Wilmington Community Fund, which is a tax exempt donation, whatever the call letters are.
Right.
That a donation made to the Wilmington Community Fund earmarked for the food pantry is a tax-deductible donation, and the money would come directly to us.
Excellent.
Now, what we do with any money that's donated is we will buy perishable items. We tried to give out orange juice every week. We tried to give out bread every week. We tried to give out a meat product, a hamburger or hot dogs every week. These are items that we buy.
Okay.
And whenever there's, the basic food items that we might be running low on, we use that money to buy those types of things. Now, because we're an all-volunteer group, nobody gets paid. We have no expenses at all. The town picks up the cost of our room and the heat and electricity. If you give $1 to the food pantry, $1 is going out for food. So there are
Excellent.
no expenses whatsoever that are
So
incurred.
you get a really good bang for your buck.
You get
so
a
to
complete
speak.
bang for the buck.
Excellent.
But other things that we need, we're coming into the holiday season.
Right.
People think now, they're starting to think more about donating, making donations.
Right.
And if people want to make a donation, we are open every Saturday from 10 to 12, right at the Swain School. You can bring donations to us. We have a basket at Market Basket where you can leave donations. We have a basket at the library where you can donate food, and we have a basket at Lucci's where you can donate food.
Excellent. So there's plenty of ways for folks to get involved.
Yes, yes.
Bob, thank you so much for being with us today.
My
Thank you
pleasure.
for the work that you do. Thank you for watching. Stay with us. We're going to be back with our second half here of Where's Wilmington.
Kristen Pasquarello of Troop 1187, and you're watching WCTV, Wilmington Community Television.
I heard about this company dumping toxins in local rivers, and I called their executives to say stop. But they were too busy counting profits while the rivers are being destroyed, birds and fish are dying, and the local kids are getting cancer. So I organized a huge protest, and we actually got the company shut down. But now half the town's unemployed, and the kids are twice as sick since they can't get health care, since their parents lost the insurance they had when they worked for the company who dumped all the toxins in the first place.
How do you convince a 14-year-old girl that hair doesn't matter? When the diagnosis is childhood cancer, where can parents turn? CureSearch.org can help. It's run by doctors and scientists whose research has led to an overall cure rate of 78%. You're not as alone as you feel.
Hi, welcome back for the second half of Where's Wilmington. I'm Lisa Capalla, but then you already know that because you've been around this block before. Today I have with me Danielle McCoy, and she's going to talk to us about yoga, and I can't wait. Thanks for being with us today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Tell me, first of all, there are so many different kinds of yoga. I know there's Hatha, Bikram, all kinds. What else is there? What
There's
other kinds of
Ashtanga,
things?
there's
Ashtanga,
power.
that's the Madonna one.
That's
right?
the Madonna one.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about the different principles or practices that go along with yoga and why there are the different types.
Well, there's one term covering a lot of different styles of yoga.
I see.
And when you go to Hatha yoga, there's all different branches you can get into, but basically it's about breathing, position, and honoring your body as to what it can do. And different styles of Hatha yoga will concentrate on different parts of those aspects. They cover meditation, and the positions are called asanas. And basically, you're going to go into a yoga class, and you'll start off with a gentle breathing meditation on the floor, if you can get on the floor today. You'll start off by doing slower movements. You'll work your way up to standing position, do a couple of strengthening positions, get back down on the floor, lie down into a nice relaxation pose, do another gentle breathing, and just kind of ease your way out of it. So that would be Hatha.
Okay.
Ashtanga is what you hear as like power yoga.
Right.
It's another word for it. It sounds strong, it is strong. What it is you have to do, it's a flow of yoga. The way that I've heard described is you ride the breath. So you're going to do a series of different moves, kind of fast in progression for like, I don't know, 4 or 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
Then you'll go into power poses and you hold them. And they focus on alignment and breath and just holding the position. And then you'll go back into the rapidly moving things.
So that kind of sounds like the circuit training of yoga.
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
like when
it
we, in the old
does.
days when I
It
used to go to
does.
the gym.
Yeah.
You know, you would do a series of movements quickly to get your cardio going
Yes.
while you're doing the weight training.
Yes.
So similar to that.
Yes.
How do I know, as a novice to yoga, what kind of yoga, which kind I should pick? Obviously, it would be nice to look like Madonna.
It would.
She does some great stuff with
It
her
would.
body. But how do I know what's right for me and what kind of practitioner I should go with?
Well, you have to take a look at yourself, your own lifestyle, your own body shape, what your physical ability is.
Right.
What do you want to get out of yoga? Do you want to go more into the meditative, quiet, relaxation aspect of it? Do you want to go in for the stretching and, you know, the spiritual aspect of it? That's where you go into Hatha yoga.
Okay.
And there's all different branches of it. And just look it up and see what it is that's good for you. Ashtanga is very strong. You would have to be at reasonable physical ability. People with high blood pressure should not start Ashtanga yoga.
Mm-hmm.
People with hip or knee problems should not start at Ashtanga. If you've been in yoga and you'd like to try something more challenging, you can do Ashtanga yoga, and they do offer modifications. I've done Ashtanga yoga, and I'm big, but being big doesn't stop anybody from doing it.
You bring up a good point, because most people, when you think of yoga, you think of
Skinny.
twisting yourself around and being lithe, and And that would be a nice thing to be, and we can all get there certainly. But do you think that intimidates some people
It
from
does.
attempting it?
It does, because people think that they have to go into the yoga studio. They have to look a certain way.
Right.
They have to look great in a tank top. They have to be able to do what the experienced teacher does. They do not have to wrap their knees around their head and be a vegetarian and drink soy milk and eat fried tofu for dinner.
Right.
That's just not what it's about. It's about honoring your body's ability. A lot of it is focused on the breath. And there are some times where you can't do what you did yesterday.
Right.
And there's a position called down dog, which is you have your hands on the floor, your back rises up, and your feet come down. There are some days you can do it, some days you cannot. It's honoring yourself and give yourself a break.
But every day we can breathe.
That's
can
very
start there
important,
and
is
work
to breathe
from
every
there.
day.
Right.
And the thing about breathing is, just like with the Ashtanga Yoga, and I implement this in the classes that I teach, is breath. And you keep your breathing slow and deep. And what I found is that people, they pant. They don't breathe. They haven't taken a decent breath
Right.
in years.
We're very shallow breathers. I think our
Yes.
culture is part of that,
Rush,
too.
rush, rush.
The way we hurry and hurry. When you contact a yoga studio, will they tell you what kind of yoga they practice? Or will each studio have all these classes available?
Well, what I'm seeing is a lot of the studios have different aspects of Hatha Yoga. They don't have specifically, say, Bikram Yoga. They don't have specifically Ashtanga. They incorporate all different kinds for everybody. And I've been to different yoga classes, but for the most part, they're all pretty basic.
Okay.
You know, the beginning meditation, you can't do anything full force right away. You know, you can't drive a car on a cold engine. You
Right.
have to do warm up. You have to, get up the acceleration. Then before you stop, you can't slam on the brakes. You have to ease into it.
Okay.
So
maybe try out a class, see if the place is comfortable for you.
a lot of places
maybe,
are free first class.
Check the internet and see
Yes.
what they have available so you can educate yourself about the different types before you
Yes.
go. What do you wear to your yoga class?
Something that you can move in.
Now, that could be a lot of different things to a lot of different people.
And they find out what they cannot move in.
I mean, do you think of sweatpants? Is that too warm?
You can do sweatpants, but you will get warm,
Right.
even with the gentle yoga class, unless you're just a cold person and you need that around you. Because the other thing is, keep in mind, is at the very end of the yoga class, after all this activity, even in the gentle ones, you're going to work up body heat, and then you'll be lying down and relaxing, and you're going to get cooler. But there's always blankets around
Right.
in a yoga studio.
Right.
You want to wear stuff that moves. Spandex is wonderful.
What about as far as natural fibers? You know, some people say cotton only. Other people say polyester is okay. Do you believe in the energy concept of clothing, or do you just think
Personal
whatever's
preference.
comfy?
Personal preference.
Okay.
Unless you're a real purist and, this is what you feel and you're environmentally aware and everything. And if you can move in cotton, that's awesome.
Great.
And if you can move in linen, that's cool. But for the most part, yoga pants, stuff that moves with you.
Right.
Zippers, not
Right.
really.
Right. And we were talking earlier before we started about the hair clippy. You want to be careful because if you're going to be lying down on the floor and you have some of that in your hair, it can be uncomfortable.
You will
so.
impale yourself.
Right.
And
Not good.
you have to either take it out and be prepared to take it in and put it out, because you can't have your hair falling in your face. It's a distraction.
Right.
But a ponytail, something off your face if you have longer hair.
Right. Now, as far as the rooms for yoga, I've been to different classes. They usually keep them fairly dark. Do you do that too? Like not as bright as the studio would be, but I love that.
I do.
Because then everybody can have their own personal experience and you don't feel like you're on display.
Right.
When I did aerobics in the 80s, it was more about what you were wearing and how your hair looked. This sounds more like a personal one-on-one experience between
It
you and the
is.
teacher, even though you're part of the whole room.
It is, and most of the students, like I was saying earlier, I talk to people in a darkened room, they're sitting on the ground and they have their eyes closed. This has nothing to do with a fashion show. They're coming here to bring peace and relaxation to their bodies. They're there to bring strength to their inner core and to support themselves, but at the same time, while they're relaxing, they're bringing peace to themselves, they're supporting themselves and becoming stronger.
Excellent. Where can we get a hold of you if listening to all this about yoga has made us want to actually try it?
Well, I do classes at Yoga with Robin in Tewksbury.
Okay.
Her phone number is 978-851-9911. And as of, she's actually moving this month to a new location, so we'll have an
Excellent.
all brand new studio.
Good.
And she also offers Reiki and all kinds of different treatments, like holistic
Now,
treatments.
Reiki, I know you're a Reiki master as well. Reiki is about moving the energy through the chakra systems, if people are familiar with that. Is that correct? Or is it polarity work? What are we talking
Well,
about?
what it is, it's channeling energy. We have this life force all around us. In the studio, when we go outside, and you're grounded on the ground. Now, you have this life force energy. If not, nothing would survive.
Right.
So what I do is I act as a channel, or if you want to think of it as like an empty pipe. I take this energy from around us, I channel it through me, and I put it onto the person I'm working on. And it feels like this warm glow going through your body. And a lot of times I'll do a guided meditation to give people visualizations. Sometimes they see colors, sometimes they see swirls, and sometimes they just relax, and a lot of times they go to sleep.
Right.
And I put my hands lightly on your body. It's about the weight of a nickel. And I'll start off at the top of your head, and I'll just move my way down, nothing invasive, just fully dressed under a sheet or a blanket, whichever you like. My hands will get either very, very warm or cool, depending on what it is your body needs at the time. And this healing energy, depending on the placement of my hands, will go into different parts of your body as it needs it.
Now, this is nothing new.
No.
This has been around since the
Thousands
beginning
of
of time,
years.
but we as Americans think it's a new culture.
Yes.
So, anything final you'd like to tell us before you go today about yoga or, you know, Reiki, or anything you just want folks to know about healing and feeling whole?
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid
That's
of
excellent
it.
advice.
If you perceive yourself to be overweight, you're self-conscious, you know, you think, oh my God, I'm just too heavy, I can't do yoga. Yes, you can.
Or you're too little and you can't
Or
do
you're
it
too
either.
small.
Maybe you feel uncomfortable because you don't have
Yes.
flexibility or
Yes.
strength. You can be skinny and have that issue
You don't
too.
have to have it, you work towards it. This is your practice. It's aimed at you. And in any position that you're in, there's a modification. If you can't get on the floor, you take modified yoga. If you can't bend your knee, don't bend your knee. You don't have to do everything, you know, in full tilt, the full everything. And that's the best advice I can give, is just don't be afraid of it and just honor your own body.
Excellent.
And regardless of your size, regardless of your age, I've had elderly people in classes. You would be amazed at the difference that the progress that they make in just a few weeks in their flexibility, and they feel better about themselves.
And that's the key to it.
That's the key to
So
it.
if you folks want to feel better about yourself, you can get in touch with Danielle, and she is at, what is it, Robin's Yoga
yes.
with Robin.
Yoga with Robin.
In Tewksbury. We'll put that number up on the screen for you one more time. What is that?
Yoga with Robin, and the phone number is 978-851-9911. The first class is free.
Excellent.
So if you'd like to come in and try it out, no obligation. Robin is wonderful. She's been my own mentor. Or
Excellent.
if you just have questions for me about Reiki, my phone number is 978-657-5161.
Excellent. Thank you for being with us, watching Where's Wilmington, and we'll be back again soon, so stay tuned for more.